All right, this is Robert Young and Renee Garcia, and we're going to be showing you, Renee's going to be showing, and I'm going to be watching and learning more about the database aspect of GIS. As surveyors, we're very interested in maps. We're interested in getting data collected and in resolving boundaries, and databases is not something that we're really, all of us are big on. There's some of us that have some access and Excel and database type backgrounds, and there's some of us that don't have any. I know that the database concept was foreign to me. It may be foreign to some of y'all out there, and it may be common practice. But we're going to start with the lowest common denominator by providing a blank Microsoft Access database, blank in the sense that there's not going to be data in the fields, but there's going to be blank fields. Renee's going to go over and show us the fields. Just from a surveyor's perspective, your clients, a list of your clients, a list of your employees, your projects, keeping track of things. You may want to redo and start over your database after you watch this program, or you may want to use what you have and join it up, which we showed in an earlier, I think it was georeferencing. But the database is a very important component because all of the data in your geospatial file cabinet, all of the data in ArcMap, every point, line, and polygon is associated with a table or a database. And once I finally got that concept as a surveyor, I really realized the power of the database. Renee, where would you like to start?
Rob, first of all, to give a little perspective on what, how I see a database, many years ago people had a Rolodex.
That's right.
And that's a database. You remember that word, Rolodex?
Yeah. Remember the slide we used to show with the Rolodex and the old surveyor, because that was the GIS.
That was
in his head.
That was the client and maybe some additional information, and that was pretty much a paper database. All we're doing here, whether it's Excel or Microsoft Access or even Microsoft Word document, I know some companies may have a current list of clients or jobs. What a database does allows you to compile this information into one bucket. Your clients, your employees, and order information, stuff like that, and bring up some information, maybe run some queries to find out maybe where you've done jobs or who you've done them for. What we're looking at right now on this database right here, this has got some information on it. Some of the fields are filled in, and so I can show examples on how we're going to run this. Like you said, the one that comes with this is going to be blank, and you're going to have to enter your own information.
Well, if I was, let's just assume, again, none of this is rehearsed. Let's assume that I'm brand new to GIS. I say, hey, this is something I want to get into, and I open up, I'm watching this, and then I know I have a blank database. Where would I start? Where's the point of beginning for a surveyor as far as, do you have an idea or have a concept of what would be the first thing you'd want to enter?
There's either one of these can be first, Robert. Add your employees and your input fields. The input fields and the employees are going to be pull down, what we call a pull down menu. When you get to pick some, instead of keying in somebody's name all the time, it's CAD Tech or the RPLS.
By click and shoot.
Click and shoot, and you're there.
I got you.
It cuts down typos, and it actually speeds the process of data entry up.
Right, and the reason we want your employees in there, guys, in case you're wondering what does this have to do with anything, by having an employee attached to a job or attached to a task in a job, even if they're not here anymore, as Renee's going to show us, it's very valuable in retracing what happened 2 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. Go with it.
All right, right here I have the employee GUI open right here, and right here you can start.
GUI is graphical user interface. It took me a while. Okay, go ahead, GUI.
But right here, here's one of our employees, Dennis Bowman. We can go down the list. There's people in here already. Right. You can see the active and inactive.
Right.
Is checked off. If they're inactive, you want to uncheck them. That way they're not available for data entry. We don't want to put Carol Pelican as a CAD tech if she's not working here.
Right.
We don't
She's an awesome lady right now. There's not a workload to have her. She has had her hands on many, many projects, though.
Yep. So
great.
So you here if I go to last record, here's the last one, Deborah Dean. I can go to hit a new record here. I'll get a blank screen. I can key some information in. Type somebody's name in.
All right, I got a job.
We don't have to put your date of birth. We'll say where you're active, your RPLS, and your bill rate is Give me one, Robert.
Oh, I think we ought to, I think we ought to put us out there about $500.
Oh man, 500. That'll work. That's my type, right? That's my kind of bill rate right there.
All right.
We're just having some fun here, but I'm just showing an example. I've just put one employee in.
Right.
And this is very simple. We don't have a lot of information here, but the main thing is to have the employee name in there and whether they're active or not, and what position they're. We'll see this in a little bit in another form, Robert.
Right, and from a non-GIS perspective, the date of birth, the value of that, guys, is knowing when your employees' birthdays are and acknowledging it is a big thing. Whether you're one man, three man, or whether you have 100 employees, everybody wants to be acknowledged on their birthday. That's just something that we put in there from the very start.
All right, I went and closed that out, and that's one part of it. This is all part of the setup, Robert.
Okay.
And we actually have a button here, and all these are buttons that you can click and they'll do something.
Okay.
We're going to click on this set input fields.
Great.
And we have a little form here. It's got multiple smaller forms within the actual large form here.
Okay.
And right here you got location types, and this is control, field nodes, fence nodes, whatever it might be. These are just examples of some kind of locations you may have in a code that goes with it.
Right. They're just things that you made up so that.
Yeah.
So that are any of these going to be in the blank database, or people?
No,
are
these would be empty.
So like this is where you'd input your job types.
Job
like
type.
Construction staking. Or
that would be right here. Job type is right here. Boundary survey, hydrographic survey, pipeline survey, plat, lot, and block.
Okay.
Here, this will be blank, and you'll be able to enter your own. Right. Same with job titles here. We had a job title pull down in that employee list.
Right, you're right.
And this is where it comes from. You set up all your titles here, and then when you set up your employees, you'll have titles that you can pick what they're going to do.
Great.
If you do go to an employee and it doesn't have the title, you can come back here, enter it here, and then go back, and it'll be there.
Right.
Right here we've got the counties working in, and Robert, we went ahead and loaded all the Texas counties that worked in a very large area here.
Right.
And this will be blank. You can enter, if you work in two or three counties, you can enter the county names that way. But if you want to document what county you did your job in, it's going to be there's going to be a pull down there.
You don't have to type it out
you
every time.
You do not have to type it out.
Great.
Up here we have equipment used. This will be blank also. We just have, an example set of equipment that we've used in the past.
Right.
Leica, Javad, Topcon, conventional, and you got sub-meters, RTKs, different types of information here that you can use. And you'll see this later on, Robert, and when we place an order, when somebody places an order and we go to the orders form, there's going to be pull downs for some of this information. And there'll also be pull downs. When I say pull downs, it'll be a little menu, and we'll demonstrate in a little bit. Also, in our completed projects, when we're going to complete the project out, we don't know when the order is taken what equipment we're going to use.
Right.
So that'll come later.
Okay. Great. So the database, once we get these things filled out initially, the next step is when a client calls with a new project, that's when the database, the first thing we do is enter it in the database. Eventually we're going to get to that point.
Yep.
But before we do that, we need to know which employees are there, what type of projects we're going to be doing, and what type of equipment we have that we're going to be using on those projects.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's basically we're setting up the database for input.
Gotcha.
Even though we're inputting information, but that's preliminary information for the actual order taking.
Okay.
And all this information, the more information you put in these forms, the better your reports are going to be.
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
All right, so we did those. Right now I'm going to go to this create or view orders here. And you got a form here that, right here, job order, you can add a new order here. You can start updating. I can go back to this one. Let's say we made a mistake or the date was incorrect. If I click this button here, I can start making changes. I just click the start updates. And if I click it again, it'll stop. And let's say this was the incorrect date here.
Right.
Let's say it was 4/6, 2002. Whatever it might have been, I can make that change, say stop updates. Okay, there's an input mask there. Let's see here.